Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What is up, you guys? Tony Metro here. A brutal day for the Mets. There is no other way to put it. They are absolutely dog-walked by the San Francisco Giants today as they lose the series to them. A team that just waved the white flag earlier this week. I mean, before this weekend by trading away a good chunk of their roster, declaring themselves as sellers, including, of course, sending Tyler Rogers to the Mets. And, I mean, the Giants took it to the Mets this weekend. No other way to put it. This was a brutal game, and it was exactly what we've been seeing so often from this team lately. Not great defense. Very lethargic in terms of the lineup. The final line, they end up with 4 runs on 8 hits, but let's be honest, they were getting shut down by Carson Whisenhunt, who gets his first major league win, a guy that had an ERA above 9 entering this one. I know, small sample size, but what's not a small sample size is just how uninspired this lineup has looked for a good chunk of this season, really the entire season. Let's be honest, it's been this lineup that's just not getting the job done. Yeah, they come out, they scored 12 runs yesterday, and how do they follow it up? Really not doing a whole lot here today. But of course, the biggest thing is Frankie Montas, because it just feels like at this point, when Frankie Montas is going to take the mound, it is automatically going to be chalked up to an L. I mean, he has been horrible. Obviously didn't start the season with the team with the injured list stint for, I believe it was his hip, or maybe it was his arm. I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to see Frankie Montas pitching for this team anymore. He has been horrific. So bad. Let me go to the chat real quick. Stefan, what's up, my man? Torrens man of the match. Yeah, I mean, right? You have to end up going to Luis Torrens, a position player, to get the final out of the 9th inning, because Ryan Stanek with a nightmarish 9th can't even complete it. It ends up giving up a 3-run homer and a 2-run shot, or a 2-run base hit to Dom Smith to extend the lead and basically just delay the inevitable. We knew the Mets weren't going to make a comeback when they were even trailing 7-2. They had a few different opportunities in this game. You had 2nd and 3rd there in the bottom of the 7th, or bottom of the 8th rather, for Pete Alonso. He strikes out swinging. Just a really brutal game from the lineup, but nothing as bad as what Frankie Montas did. Another horrible performance from him. He finishes with a final line, 4 innings, gives up 7 runs and 2 walks. You could see it all kind of happening in slow motion, right? You could see it starting to get off the tracks in that 2nd inning or 3rd inning, whenever he gave up. It was the 3rd inning where he gave up a 4 spot. So you have Jung-Hoo Lee, who killed the Mets this whole weekend, this whole season, really. I mean, even in San Francisco, too, but comes away with a 4-hit day. But he's on base. He steals. The ball trickles away from Lindor, and then immediately they get a base hit to tie the game up. You have a walk and then another base hit, and then that sets things up for Rafi Devers, who blasts a 3-run shot to right field. I mean, you don't even need to turn your head to know that that ball was going into the upper deck in right field. So, I mean, just awful start again from Frankie Montas. I mean, how much longer can the Mets keep letting this guy pitch, right? Like, we have been saying this since before the season. The signing really never made any sense for the Mets. This is a guy that we were hoping maybe the Mets pitching lab can get their hands on him. They can turn him into a quality pitcher like they did with Luis Severino last year, and turning Sean Manaea's career around as well. It has not been the case with Frankie Montas. He has been horrible. I mean, the signing never made sense to begin with. They could have just brought Jose Quintana back. Instead, they gave 2 years, $17 million per season to Frankie Montas, and he has either been hurt or, when he has been pitching, horrible. So, does not even give the Mets an opportunity to win this game. I mean, immediately putting them behind it. I mean, 4 runs in the 3rd inning, 3 more in the 4th inning. Before you know it, it was 1-0 after Francisco Lindor with the home run in the first frame, and then it's 7-1 before you could even blink your eyes. It's just insane. Let me go to the chat real quick. Stefan, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you tuning in. Glad you could tune in for this one. Let's see. Flat Cheese Bun. Hey, what's up, Flat Cheese Bun? How you doing, man? Stefan says this is a 490 team at best. Yeah, I mean, the way they've been playing, look, they've lost 5 out of 6. They got swept by San Diego. That's how they followed up their 7-game winning streak. And then they come back here. And I said this after the game on Friday, or after the game on Wednesday, whatever it was, that there was no reason the Mets shouldn't return home to Citi Field after getting swept by San Diego, and at minimum win 5 out of 6 on this homestand. You had 3 with the Giants, who, like I said, just waved the white flag and, said that they're basically done for the season. They just sold at the trade deadline. They came in and they busted the Mets' ass for 2 out of 3. And then you got Cleveland coming up. And while the Guardians haven't had a great season, they are playing much better lately. They are like 16-7 in their last 23 games. So it's not going to be a cakewalk either. But I said at a minimum, I wanted 5 out of 6. That's already off the table, having lost the first series of this homestand with the Giants. And I'm sorry, but it's not going to get much easier with the Guardians team that is playing well. So the Mets are now in a virtual tie for first place with the Phillies, who will play the Tigers tonight on Sunday Night Baseball. At worst, obviously, the Mets could finish a half game behind them at the end of the day, or they will remain a half game ahead. But it doesn't matter. We can't be scoreboard watching and just hoping that the Phillies continue to trip over themselves when we can't pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off. I mean, the Mets are just not playing good baseball right now. They're not getting quality starting pitching. They're not getting timely hitting or really any hitting outside of that 12-run barrage yesterday. I mean, you want to talk about feast or famine. That is literally how it has been for the Mets seemingly all year long. They're either having a day like they did on Saturday where they put up 12, or they're having a game like today where Carson Whisenhunt, the rookie with an ERA above 7, absolutely shoved against them. I mean, he goes 5 2/3, and then what do you know? It's former Met Jose Butto coming in and getting 3 strikeouts in the 6th inning. You can't make it up. And you got Dom Smith getting base hits in all 3 of these games. You just can't make this stuff up. I don't get it. Let me go to the chat real quick. Absol, win some, lose some. Mets. Montas with 7 starts and never gonna make it past the 6th inning. How is this not being addressed by the Mets? Good point, Absol. And I mean, look, I've said it. I don't understand the signing of Frankie Montas to begin with, but now, you can't just keep running him out there, okay? He has not been effective. He has not given them length. He has not given them quality. What exactly does Frankie Montas do, okay? Like, he can get on the mound, but is he effective? No, not even a little bit. They have got to consider calling up Brandon Sproat or Nolan McLean at this point, because between Clay Holmes starting to see the effects of all the innings he has logged this year, the terrible pitching that we have gotten from Frankie Montas since he has returned from the injured list, it is not good enough. They are not giving the Mets an opportunity to win ball games. The Mets need to consider bringing up Brandon Sproat and or Nolan McLean and making a change. The problem is, what do you do? Because the easiest thing, the one that makes the most sense, is to put Clay Holmes into the bullpen. I mean, he can't keep making starts. He's not, number one, going far anymore, and number two, he's not pitching very well either. You have to imagine him pitching twice the amount of innings he ever has in a single season in his MLB career is catching up to him. So the simplest thing is put Clay Holmes in the pen, call one of the kids up to take his spot in the rotation. But in terms of Frankie Montas, you got to put him in the bullpen. That's the only other way, and I don't know if that's something the Mets are even considering. I mean, we know if the Mets make the playoffs, knock on wood, he's obviously not going to be making starts for this team, so he either won't be on the playoff roster or will be moved to the pen. But otherwise, we're talking about roster machinations. There's nowhere to put Frankie Montas. It's got to be in the bullpen because you're not going to DFA him, right? I mean, that's not going to happen, but he is pitching like a guy that should be designated for assignment. It has just been so brutal. Guys, what is up? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Be sure to leave this video a like. Really appreciate it. Carlos Mendoza is speaking right now. It was a great start for Whisenhunt. I know it was only his 2nd career start, so that's why I'm being a little dramatic about him having an ERA over 7 entering this one, but 5 1/3 innings pitch, gives up just 3 hits, 2 runs. One of them is unearned on the air, but I mean, just another brutal day for the lineup. I mean, the middle of the order did absolutely nothing. You get the home run from Lindor, but other than that, Soto 1 for 4. Pete 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Marte 0 for 4. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. This lineup has just been so woefully inconsistent. And I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going to the well. It's got to be on the hitting coach. I don't know what else it can be. I mean, we really need to look into Eric Chavez, because I just don't understand how we could have as talented of a lineup on paper as we should and not be able to produce like at a consistent level. I just don't understand. But let me go to the chat again. Edward Christian, what's up, man? Also, it's the weekly bats gone hot, then gone cold. The next day, inconsistency. Exactly what I was just saying, Edward. He says trash hitting, and Chavez still have a job is unacceptable. We need to get hot faster. We are on for a wild card position. 100%, like I was just saying. I swear I was talking about that before I even saw your comment there, Edward. It is just mind-numbing how inconsistent this lineup is. It just doesn't make sense. Like, they are consistently inconsistent. That's the only thing you can say about this lineup. Just lifeless looking at bats. I mean, from this whole team up and down, it has been so frustrating. Joe says it's not sustainable to continue to get 4 innings from your starters. 100%. And I don't know what to do at this point. David Peterson is the only guy that you can count on to get into the 6th inning. I mean, even Sean Manaea is not going very deep into games. We know he's still obviously kind of ramping his arm up. It's now 4 starts for him so far on the year. So I trust that he will be able to be that guy. But yesterday, bad performance from Kodai Senga. He exits after 4 or 5 innings, right? Luckily, the bat's able to do enough for that one, but the pitching just has not been good enough. And then you combine it with how inconsistent this offense has been, and it turns into the Mets losing 5 of their last 6 games. They get swept by San Diego. They lose 2 out of 3 to a reeling San Francisco team, and now they are in a virtual tie for first place. So look, we're going to be doing this teeter-totter, this seesaw with the Phillies pretty much these final 2 months of the season, unless they can pull themselves together and pull away from them in this race. But otherwise, you keep playing ball like this, all it's going to take is one hot streak for the Phillies to pull away themselves. So hopefully the Mets are going to be that team. But right now, the way they've been playing, I'm not seeing it. Let's see. Sandman Games. Hi, Tony. What's up, my man? And Mookie. Yeah, Mookie's around here somewhere laying down. Absol says, Marlins only 7 games out of first place, playing red hot baseball. I could see them passing the Mets way they're hitting right now. Still plenty of season left for them. My goodness, Absol, please don't even put that energy into the universe. I know. I've been monitoring the Marlins. Only 7 games back of first place. They are even 500 at 55-55 after sweeping the Yankees in a 3-game series this weekend. Please, I cannot live if the Marlins surpass the Mets this year. If they do what they did to us in 2007 and 2008, playing spoiler on the final weekend of the season. By the way, guys, don't go and check the schedule because I already did it for you. Guess who the Mets play the final weekend of the series? Down in Miami, Mets, Marlins. Please, my Lord, don't let it come to that because I can't handle it. I just simply can't. I'm getting flashbacks to 2007 when I was in 7th grade, 2008. I can't do it. Let's see. Sandman Games. Can't blame Mullins. Look who he has as a hitting coach now, LOL. I mean, honestly, Cedric Mullins really hasn't done much. I think he's now 1 for 9 or 1 for 10 so far in his first 3 games here with the Mets. So not a super impressive first debut showing for Cedric Mullins. So hopefully the bad Mets hitting genes have not worn off on him too early yet. But yeah, I'm still going with Eric Chavez as the issue. And I can't believe he is still the hitting coach for this team. I just don't get it. Jose Lopez Moya says, let's face it, Montas is the worst signing since Jason Bay. Can't even do mop-up job. I mean, the expectations obviously are very different from Montas to Jason Bay back in 2009 or 2010, whatever it was. But yes, this has been a horrible signing. And to think the Mets have him again next year because it's a player option for $17 million. Nobody is touching Frankie Montas for $5 million, let alone $17 million. You can bet your ass he is going to be cashing that check and opting in for next season as well. The Mets are stuck with him at this point, and I don't get what the Mets front office, specifically David Stearns, saw in this guy when they could have simply re-signed Luis Severino, re-signed Jose Quintana, or gone with any other arm that wasn't named Frankie Montas, and yet here we are talking about another horrific start from him. 4 innings pitched, 7 earned runs, 2 walks on 92 pitches. I mean, just brutal. I said it during the game. I posted a TikTok. I just said, let the guy pitch till his arm falls off today. I mean, not to like actually get him hurt. I don't mean it that way, but make him wear it. Make him wear it, man. I mean, why not? Why dip into the bullpen, which, by the way, was looking really solid there for a little while. Austin Warren coming in, giving the Mets 4 innings of scoreless ball, keeping it at 7-1, 7-2 the whole way. And then Ryan Stanek comes in, and my goodness, man, brutal appearance for Ryan Stanek. I don't know what to say about this guy anymore, but just absolutely awful performance from him, from Frankie Montas, and really from this lineup as well. They definitely don't get a pass either. Let's see. Mark Barreto, what's up? With our strengthened bullpen, we just need stars to get us to the 6th and at least score 4 runs. Is that too much to ask? No, it shouldn't be, but why does it feel like it's too much to ask? Why does it seem like it's pulling teeth to try to get 4 runs from this lineup on a nightly basis? What is up with Juan Soto? The lazy 4-3 groundouts to the second baseman, the pop-ups. I mean, Pete Alonso has seen his OPS drop 150 points over the last month and a half or two. Like, what's going on with Pete? Lindor, yeah, he hits the home run today, had a good day yesterday, but for the most part, it's been really bad. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. There was a little stretch there during that 7-game winning streak where it was the baby Mets pulling their weight finally, and all the meanwhile, it was the big boppers not getting the job done, and really, that's kind of what happened here this weekend against San Francisco. Not good enough pitching, and the big guys in the lineup not really doing a whole lot outside of yesterday with Nimmo and Lindor. So very annoying. Jose Lopez Moya says Lindor's error and Alonso's lack of good judgment open up the floodgates. Exactly. So I kind of glossed over that, but in that, I guess it was the 4th inning, right? Yeah. The error from Francisco Lindor. Just the ball, that was the 3rd inning actually. Yeah, the ball just getting away from him on the throw down from Alvarez on the stolen base, advances lead to 3rd, base hit to tie the game, and then you had runners at the corners, I believe it was. Pete Alonso diving to get a ball and gets up, hesitates, can't come away with a clean transfer out of the glove, tries to throw the runner out at home, but too late. He slides in safely. I mean, just an ugly game from the Mets. I mean, there were a couple of seeing eye singles too that the Giants got. I mean, it sucks. It just sucked. The Mets did not play a clean game, and they did not perform well outside of the margins either. So very annoying loss. Let's see. Explosive Diarrhea says, losing Canning hurt. He was always an innings eater, never gets hurt, comes to the Mets, out for the season. Yep, it's a tale as old as time. You come to the Mets, you either forget how to play baseball or you get hurt, right? It's always what happens with our guys. I've completely forgotten about Griffin Canning. I just wiped it from my memory, but man, how helpful would it be to still have Griffin Canning in this rotation, even though he was starting to taper off a little bit there and wasn't pitching as effectively as well as he was for the first month and a half or 2 of the season. But if we could have Griffin Canning right now, it would be an opportunity to maybe give Frankie Montas a phantom injured list stint, right? And then maybe an opportunity where one of the other 2 young guys in Sproat or McLean get the call to take a spot in the rotation. But not having Canning really does hurt this team. Great point, Explosive Diarrhea. Stefan, it's so annoying to see how easy the Giants play, hit, and score. The Mets do nothing. Truly embarrassing. I don't get it. Sometimes it feels like I'm watching the Mets play a different sport than the other teams. Like, I don't think the Giants are a better team than the Mets. They're not. But they played like a much better team this weekend. I mean, that's baseball. But the Mets are in one of these funks, and I like the word lethargic because it's not that they actually are coming out not motivated to play, but that's just how this lineup looks when it's not going well. There is no activity on the bases. They're not, doing anything. They can't get anybody aboard. So, I mean, it's frustrating. It really is when the Mets get into these funks. And unfortunately, it has happened way too often for a team with World Series aspirations. Like, you cannot be a World Series hopeful and go into as many slumps as this team seems to go into and hope to be where you want to be at the end of the year. So they got to turn it around. They got to turn it around fast because fortunately, the Phillies are playing 500 ball lately. I've never been scared of the Phillies, but they are still a quality team. And all it's going to take is them to go on a run, win 8 out of 10. And all of a sudden they could be pulling away for the Mets if they don't get their shit in order. I don't know if I should have said that word. I don't know. Let's see. Sandman Games, Diarrhea, cha. You guys love that. Red Bear Fox, what's up, man? How you doing? He says the series also showed why Alonso is not a Gold Glover. Couldn't catch an easy foul pop up and terrible decision making today. Gold Glove is about fielding, throwing, and baseball IQ. Alonso is not Gold Glove. Fair enough. Yes, I don't believe he is. I said it after he had that really fantastic game against the Giants I guess that was last weekend, right? But for the most part, we know Pete Alonso is not a Gold Glover. He's just not as much of a butcher as a lot of people like to make him out to be. But overall, just a really rough series for Pete Alonso outside of hitting that 3-run homer yesterday. I mean, just, what's going on with Pete? This has been bad. I don't know if that hand is affecting him after he got hit on it or he has the bruised hand, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not sure, but Pete has not been hitting well and unfortunately doesn't make a couple plays in the field this series either. So really, really rough in that regard for sure. Let's see. Sandman Game says the pain. That's saved for Jets season. Okay, there's more pain on the way when the Jets get started here pretty soon, Sandman. Hopefully they surprise us all. I'm happy to go into this Jets season with no expectations, though. Can't be disappointed. Let's see. Apso says, whatever happened to the Mets going after Alcantara or any good starter for that matter? The Mets checked in on Alcantara and I think it's Edwards, right? Or Cabrera for the Marlins. Marlins were told other teams they're not selling on those guys. It had to be like a top 5 prospect in your system. 2 of those plus more for Sandy Alcantara is what the report was that the Marlins were seeking. And hey, don't look now. The Marlins are 55-55. They are 500. They are only 7 games behind the Mets with 2 months of the season still left to go. So don't write the Marlins off quite yet, okay? They have been a total surprise this year. I thought this team was going to lose close to 100 games, but man, they are closer to winning 100 than losing it practically at this point. So good for the Marlins. Hopefully it doesn't trip the Mets up because that would be a serious problem. But the Mets should have gotten after a starter. They checked in on a lot of different names. They were interested in Merrill Kelly before he was traded from the Diamondbacks to Texas, but they came away without a starter, and that's because David Stearns believes that they will use Sprout or McLean. But my question is when? If not now, then when? When is it going to happen? Because we keep trotting out Frankie Montas, who is horrible, cheeks, and losing games because of him. And, honestly, I don't want to get on Clay Holmes's actual pitching because he's taking the ball every 5th day. He's had some good, but he's also had some bad recently, and you have to think the innings are catching up to him now in his transition from a reliever to a starter. So if not now, when do Brandon Sprout and Nolan McLean get that call? I think it should be literally tomorrow. This is it. We're done. We can't keep putting Frankie Montas out there to give us 4 innings and cough up 5-6 runs every single time. It's just not good enough. Not for a team that is seeking its first division title in 10 years, seeking a World Series appearance for the first time in 10 years. It's not good enough. Let's see. Stefan says lethargic is the good word indeed. Yeah, I mean, they just look lifeless out there sometimes. And it's not, again, that I think they're unmotivated, but when they're in these funks, man, the lineup, it doesn't make sense. They just look like they can't put anything together. It's so frustrating to watch. Sandman Games, fear the Marlins. Don't sleep on them. I am very fearful. I have just got PTSD from the Miami Marlins, the previously known Florida Marlins from the 2007-2008 seasons when they ruined us on the final weekend of the seasons at Shea, the closed Shea Stadium with that horrific loss. So I can't even, I'm just praying that the Marlins start losing and we don't have to actually worry about them. But we still got a couple games with them, so can't be sleeping on them, that's for sure. Sandman, Mets Marlins for the 6th seed. I bet you please no, I can't do that. The Baseball Purists, Tony, you're the man. No, you're the man. Thank you, the Baseball Purists. Appreciate you tuning in. Guys, if you haven't left a like on this video, go ahead and do that now. So upcoming schedule for the Mets doesn't get a whole lot easier. We got 3 with Cleveland, who, like I said, they're like 16-7 in their last 23 games. They did sell off some pieces, so we'll see if they're a highly motivated team coming into Citi Field. But then they got 3, I believe it's with who's after that. Then we go to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers for 3. Obviously, they've been probably the best team in baseball for the last 2.5+ months, so that is going to be a tough test. And then we come home, 3 with Atlanta. Oh, God, I don't know if I could do that. That's going to be so bad next week. 3 at home with Atlanta. Hopefully the Mets can exercise some demons. Not counting on it. And then 3 more with the Mariners over the following weekend as well. So the Mariners, a team that just added to their roster, getting getting Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor. They are a playoff team for sure. So it's not a very super easy schedule. In fact, the Mets have the sixth most strongest strength of schedule remaining for the rest of the season. So this was a frustrating one to me because this is a Giants team, like I said, that just kind of punted on the season by trading off a lot of their pieces at the deadline. We just swept them in San Francisco last weekend, and to lose 2 out of 3 at home to them, big time missed opportunity, especially when you look at the upcoming schedule. That is going to be pretty difficult. Cleveland, like I said, playing good baseball lately. Milwaukee, clearly the best team in baseball, or at least have been for the last 2.5+ months. Atlanta, we already know how it always goes with the Braves, right? And then Seattle, who is a playoff team as well. So it is not going to get much easier from here on out, guys. They have got to turn it around and start playing better baseball if they don't want to see the NL East race run by them. Let's go to the chat real quick. Red Bear Fox, Tony, for almost 60% of their games this season, the Mets have scored 4 runs or less. Scoring 4 runs or less means you're expecting pitchers to give up 3 or less in order to win. Very well put, Red Bear Fox. 100%. It just feels like I've said so many times, like pulling teeth to try to score 4 runs with this team. I just don't understand. And I'm sorry, I will always go back to it. It has to be on the hitting philosophy. It has to fall on Eric Chavez. I don't know what he is telling these guys. I don't know what they are game planning. I just don't get it. I don't understand how collectively this team that has as much talent as it does can all fall into these horrific slumps pretty much at the same exact time. It just doesn't make sense, and that's why I am always going to go back to Eric Chavez. We need to take a look at this dude. What the hell is he teaching these guys, if anything? My goodness. Let's see. Mark Beretta says, Tony, are there any reasons Stearns would call up those pitchers? Really, there shouldn't be, other than it's a roster management thing at this point. They would have to clear a spot, which you could do because we have this seemingly rotating spot in the bullpen that we keep using to DFA Rico Garcia and then bring him back, and then Chris Davinsky, and then bring up Austin Warren today. So if you take that spot away, then yeah, you could give one of those kids a turn in the rotation. But I don't know if that's the Mets' plan. I don't know if they're going to. Stearns has said it. He doesn't want to call these guys up for just a spot start. He wants them to stick. How they manage to make that happen, I don't know. Frankie Montas, like I said, should be out of the rotation, but where does he go? I guess you put him in the bullpen, but I don't know how he will adjust to that, or if that is what the Mets want to do. Maybe he's that mop-up guy now instead of the Austin Warrens that we have. But that would be the best way to do it if you ask me. One other thing to note about Sproat and McLean, they are both coming up on the not the most, but basically on the same amount of innings that they pitched last year. And they are probably capped somewhere in like the 150 range. They're probably around 120 so far, 110 right now in the minors. So I don't know if they could even really pitch the rest of the season in a rotation for the Mets. So that is something to note as well, the innings limits for Brandon Sproat and Nolan McLean as well. But Joe says, Tony, you're the Flushing Flash. Great job, Joe. I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Leave this video a like, guys. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every single Mets game. So appreciate you all being here. Baseball Pure says the Mets play better with playoff teams. Baseball Pure says Cookie Carrasco is better than Frankie Montas. Oh my gosh. Cookie was so bad when he was here, man. That was a rough time for Carlos Carrasco. But yeah, it's been bad for Frankie Montas. What else can you say? It just has been. And at this point, they're shoehorned into keeping him on this roster. There is no other way that they could do anything about it. I mean, if he was on a 1-year deal, you could probably DFA the guy. They wouldn't, because, hey, we are already deep into our depth for this starting rotation. But he's on the deal for next year as well. So the Mets are just kind of stuck with him right now, and it really sucks because he is not giving them a chance to win. Stephen Terrens was better than Montas tonight. Terrens gave up the double and then ends up getting the fly out to finish the 9th inning. Good for Luis Terrens coming in. Team guy right there, right? Love to see it. But yeah, pretty sad to say that Luis Terrens had a cleaner line than Ryan Stanek or Frankie Montas today. Just unbelievable stuff. Sandman Game says, whose bright idea said, get Montas, forget Quintana? LOL, Stearns boy genius. I mean, like, how do you sign this guy not only for $17 million 1 year, but to do it for 2 years? Like, what was he thinking? I don't get it. But man, we are stuck with this dude now. Like, this is just brutal. brutal stuff that we are stuck with Frankie Montas now for not only this year, but also for next year. I don't like it at all. It was a terrible choice in the moment, and now we are living with it. The true nightmare. Let's see. Stefan says Stanek needs to be sent down right now. DFA him ASAP. No, they're not going to do that. I like Stanek. I like him in the new role that he has of basically being that like 6th inning guy, or in a game like today, 9th inning, 7-2 game where, you know, we're not coming back most likely based on how the bats were playing today. But obviously there's been a lot of really ugly innings for Stanek this year, just like today. We have seen that one many times. But what I loved about getting Tyler Rogers and getting Ryan Helsley and getting Gregory Soto from the left side is that it bumped all of those guys down a spot on the pecking order of this bullpen. So, you know, less impactful innings for Ryan Stanek. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but maybe he's going to adjust and pitch a little bit better now in not as high leverage spots as what he was doing earlier this season. I'm looking to see if there's any post game here from Carlos Mendoza so that we can listen in together. So let's go ahead and do that here. Let me make sure we got all of our settings here working for us. And pull this over here. You guys don't want to see any of that. Guys, sound off in the chat. How you guys feeling about the Mets right now? Obviously, very frustrating game. Very frustrating series. Missed opportunity, in my opinion, if you ask me. Obviously, the schedule doesn't get a whole lot easier from here. But here is Carlos Mendoza when asked about Frankie Montas' role and if it might be up for grabs. Interesting. All right, let's hear what he had to say.
Is Montas' role up for discussion at all going forward?
I mean, we just got done with the game here, you know. He's got to be better. He knows that, you know.
Yeah, no shit.
So, yeah, we just got done through the game, so.
Okay, that's not really an answer, but that's typical coach speak. You know, we just got finished with the game here. So, yeah, we just got finished with we know a game that Frankie Montas started and gave the Mets absolutely no chance of winning as he gives up 7 runs through the first 3 innings of this game and lasts just 1 more. So, obviously, it's not good enough. The writers know that too. That's why they're asking Mendoza if his spot might be up for grabs. And I mean, I know this was a non-answer. It was kind of an evasive answer from Carlos Mendoza, but I would wager to say that, yeah, it probably is up for grabs. That Montas is probably a hot seat candidate right now to lose his spot in the rotation because, look, it's just too close. The margin for error is just too slim to constantly be running this guy out there who missed the first 3 months of the season with injury and since returning has just been absolutely horrible, not giving the Mets a chance to win anytime he takes the mound. So good on that reporter for asking. Don't love the answer from Mendoza, but kind of what I expected, that typical coach speak. Let's see what he has to say about his overall performance, though. He'll have some great excuse for why Frankie Montas his ass.
Yeah, he just couldn't get swing and misses. Pitch selection, location. I mean, that pitch to Dever was right down the middle, you know, a 4-seam right there on the nitro zone, you know. And
yeah, bold strategy, Cotton. Pitch a fastball right down the middle to Rafi Devers. Great idea.
When you do that to good hitters, they're going to make you pay. And it seems like, you know, that first inning, stuff-wise, the sinker was good. I thought he got some swing and misses with the split, but then on that 3rd inning, you know, they put the ball in play, they hit some balls hard, and then Devers got him, you know, with a big one there. But overall, just not getting swing and misses, location, and he.
Yeah, overall, he just sucks is basically what you're saying, Carlos. I got it. Yeah, no, I get it. He's terrible. And he should not be taking starts for this team anymore. It is time to give Brandon Sproat or Nolan McLean their opportunity, okay? They have proven pretty much everything you possibly can in AAA. Sproat struggled. He has been pitching great lately. I think his ERA is like 0.50 over his last 4 starts or something like that. It is time for the Mets to give one of these highly prized prospects who they would not include in trades this winter, this deadline, because they value them so highly. If you value them that highly, then it's time for them to finally get their chance to pitch at the big league level for this team, because it cannot be worse than what we have been getting from Frankie Montas. Uncompetitive starts from this dude since he made his season debut for this team. Just brutal. Let's go back to the chat. Let's see, who did I got? Alex Perez, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. He says the team is not championship caliber. 100-plus games offense still stinks. Starters are not going to dominate, and they had to fix the bullpen through the deadline. Stop with the kid gloves nonsense. nonsense on these pitchers. 100%, Alex. I'm with you, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, and the most concerning thing to me is the lineup. Like, I get it. Like, we didn't get what we thought we were going to get out of center field this year. We had shortcomings with the baby Mets at third base, and then with Alvarez and how he played before going down for the demotion. Obviously wasn't hitting very well either, but it just doesn't make sense to see the collective slumps that Soto, Lindor, and Pete have all been in and how much it is weighing this team down. So I'm with you on that one 100%, Alex. Stefan says, without that extra elite start of the season is basically over, right? No, I wouldn't say that, but, like, they've got to turn it around, and it's got to start by getting better performances from the guys that are on this roster, something that they just haven't been getting lately. So they got to fix it, man. They got to fix it fast because, yeah, we're a half game out or a half game ahead, whatever it is, depending on how the Phillies do tonight. But at what point do the Phillies rip off a nice streak and then the Mets are left holding the bag and in a very competitive National League wildcard race with a handful of good teams, including the one that just swept us against San Diego? So we got to be better fast. Let's hear what Frankie Montas had to say. Hey, Frankie, how did you pitch today?
It's definitely a tough day for me. I feel like I make some good pitches, but just went to the hole. They have a really good hitting lineup.
Good pitches.
I missed a couple spots.
What?
Levers, and
Yeah, you think?
He put a good swing on it.
Yeah, he did. They put a lot of good swings on your ass, bro. You've been ass all season long, complete total cheeks. Just brutal. I just can't take it with this dude anymore, man. Let's go back to the chat real quick. Robert Lupinacci, go get Marcus Stroman. Hell no, that is not what I want to happen. I hate Frankie Montas, but I can't tell you that there's anyone that I hate more than Marcus Stroman. This dude has ran his big mouth out of the league. I mean, the fact the Yankees even signed him after the tweet that he sent a couple of years ago about how he would, fix the Yankees rotation and they don't have a guy like me that can go out and make 30 starts every year like I have been doing. Dude, this dude is at, maybe the Angels, maybe like some nondescript team that's out of the race will give him a shot. But nobody wants Marcus Stroman, number one, because he sucks. And number two, he's got that big mouth that he can never seem to shut up. But let's see, Jose Lopez Moya, you're first. They lack the enthusiasm, leadership, solid defense, and offense that Iglesias brought. Nah, man. I mean, like, I get it. Like, we all love Jose Iglesias, but like, Jose Iglesias is not the reason why the Mets are not playing good baseball right now. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go that far. Yes, would it be nice to have 2024 Jose Iglesias on this roster still? Yes, it would be, but that's not possible. And what he's doing this year with San Diego is not very impressive. So I don't think he is the reason that the Mets are not playing good baseball. But yes, he brought some really nice characteristics to this team, some nice qualities last year. But hey, it's in the past. It's up to the guys on this roster now to develop those kinds of qualities for this team. But hey, we are getting into the final 2 months of the season. So if not yet, then when's it going to happen? The same about this hitting. If not now, when is it going to finally turn around for this lineup? I don't know. Jose Lopez says Mendoza sounding like a Brett Boone clone. I think you mean Aaron Boone, but yeah, I mean, hey, he's the disciple of Boone, obviously having been his bench coach there for all those years with the Yankees. Sandman Games Devers crushed that ball. LOL still hasn't landed. No, it's still going in the air. Red Bear Fox is in Lindor's Mets career. He's been garbage every other season. He had a great season last year, so this year garbage per his MO. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with Francisco Lindor. It has been a rough stretch for him for sure. Very, very frustrating, man. I don't know what to do with Lindor. I don't know if he should be in the leadoff spot. I don't know if he should stay in the 2 spot. I don't know if they put Soto behind him or in front of him. I don't know anymore what the answer is with Francisco Lindor. They have tried doing all kinds of different things. I personally think he should go back to the leadoff spot at this point, but I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it has been a really, really rough 2-month stretch for Lindor. It seems ever since that broken toe in Los Angeles, that's pretty much the line of demarcation for where his season basically started to go off the rails. Baseball purists, in my honest opinion, McClain better than Sproat. Interesting. A lot of people do kind of share that opinion with you there, baseball purists. At this point, just give me one of them. Let me see one of these guys pitching for the Mets now, because I can't do it with Frankie Montas anymore. Let's see. Jose Lopez says, Stanek has to realize that throwing very hard is not enough. Got to be a smart pitcher while on the mound. Look, Stanek is at the twilight of his career. He was a flyer pickup last year that did not pitch well in the regular season, pitched very well in October, and came into this year thinking that he would be part setup man, part seventh inning guy when AJ Minter was still around and healthy. And then obviously his role became much more important with all of the injuries to this relief corps. But yeah, it has not been very good for the most part from Ryan Stanek. I, again, am hoping that him kind of getting moved down the totem pole in terms of high leverage situations with all the additions to their pen at this deadline will help him. But today, obviously, not a very good performance for Ryan Stanek. Robert Lupinacci, Aaron Boone. Kobe 2015. I'll be shocked if Montas and Stanek aren't DFA'd. No, guys, I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, but neither of those dudes are getting DFA'd. They're just not. I mean, I could see maybe Stanek getting DFA'd, but honestly, then we're talking about having more Chris Davinsky, more Rico Garcia, these names that have just been in the, turnstile door coming up from Syracuse and back down and DFA'd and, all these different things that they've been trying to do with that final spot in the bullpen. Well, now you're just opening another question. So I don't think Stanek's getting DFA'd. Montas is definitely not getting DFA'd because, look, he's got a 2-year contract, $17 million. The Mets are not going to bite the bullet on that yet. Not yet, but let's see as we get into the deeper part of the season. I do believe that he is going to be taken out of this rotation, and it should be Brandon Sproat or Nolan McLean taking his spot. Red Bear Fox, by the way, Mets are like 23 or 24th in baseball in hits per game. That's just not a recent slump or brief cold streak. That's being bad all season. 100% Red Bear Fox, 100%. I have been banging this drum all season long. This offense has left so much to be desired pretty much since the jump. I don't get it. And again, I continue to say, Eric Chavez, man, what the freaking hell are you teaching these guys? What the hell is the hitting philosophy of this team? I don't get it. I just can't take it anymore with him. Salmon Games, Willie Randolph over Mendoza, agree. I don't know, man. I can't believe Willie Randolph never got another opportunity to manage the big leagues. It's such a shame, man. Willie, all-around great dude. The Mets did him so dirty the way they fired him in 2008 after a win on the West Coast at 3 a.m. So ridiculous, so typical Wilpon, Omar Minaya Mets of that era. But yeah, I love Willie Randolph. I was not so sure he was the greatest in-game manager, I'll be honest. But, I would have definitely liked to see Willie get another shot with another team somewhere. Jose Lopez, will this mess prove that Stingy Stearns doesn't know crap how to structure a starting staff? I don't know, man. I don't know. It would have been nice to get another addition at the deadline. Who could have foreseen that Griffin Canning was going to rupture his Achilles, right? Who could have seen that coming? Nobody. He got the most out of him that they could. Same for last year with Luis Severino and with what's his name? Shamanai, obviously, and Jose Quintana turned in a really good season for them last year, and the pitching staff has just been getting hurt. What are you going to do about it? But yes, there's definitely also been a lot left to be desired in terms of some of the additions that David Stearns has made to this roster. I fired off this tweet earlier about Frankie Montas. I'm going to read it to you really quick, but basically just said David Stearns has done a lot of good, but the decision to give Frankie Montas 2 years at $17 million per while Jose Quintana was sitting out there physically pains me. And it was a obviously very bad decision. And it looks like a lot of people seem to agree, as you can see the engagement here, right? We all were very confused. Why did the Mets sign Frankie Montas at that contract for 2 years when you had Jose Quintana out there? You could have just re-signed Luis Severino, who just had an amazing season for them last year. And instead you gave this guy a check. And he's never really proven to be a good pitcher outside of the beginning of his career when he was with Oakland. So I just didn't understand it at all, and it seems like a lot of people seem to agree with me on that one. But someone did actually say something, and it was a reply here, and I don't know if I'm going to find it, but in regards to me saying David Stearns has done a lot of good. And the guy basically said, what good? And I'm not calling out David Stearns. I think he did have a very solid trade deadline just now. But let's be honest, a lot of his moves have not worked out. You go back to last year, Adrian Hauser. Didn't work out, obviously. You had Luis Severino. Yes, give him credit for that one. You give him credit for Sean Manaea. But Steve Cohen and his checkbook is really what brought Juan Soto here. And let's be honest, we would not have Pete Alonso for this year and the potential of next year, if not also for Steve Cohen's pocketbook. And meanwhile, the additions that he made for this roster this year Jose Siri ain't done crap. Played in, 20 games for this team? Didn't hit at all when he was playing, and we're probably not going to see him again this year. They brought in Jesse Winker last year. They re-signed him this year. I'll give him credit for that, but obviously Jesse Winker has barely played now because of the injury and going back on the injured list again. But honestly, man, I don't know, man. There's definitely a lot to be desired from David Stearns and how he constructed this roster, and I get it. Forward-thinking, always thinking about the long-term health of this organization. I don't think he's done anything rash, but I also don't believe that he has given this team the best chance to win a World Series with some of the pickup signings trades that he has made so far in his tenure. So hopefully he proves me wrong. I really hope so. Red Bear Fox says, if this season keeps tumbling downhill as it is, the Mets don't make the playoffs or they get bounced first round, does it tarnish Stearns' career or legacy? No, I wouldn't say tarnish, but I mean, how do I put it? He made the most out of what he had to work with in Milwaukee. And really now he has this opportunity to work without limitations thanks to Steve Cohen's checkbook. So obviously the microscope is going to be a lot more magnified here in New York than it is for the Milwaukee Brewers, right? But look, you don't continuously make the playoffs and produce a consistent winner in Milwaukee. And I get it. People say, well, where's this World Series? You never won a World Series. Like, what do you mean consistent winner? I mean, guys, come on. The Mets have made the playoffs 2 consecutive years, only twice in their 70-year franchise history, right? We would kill to be making the playoffs every single year the way that Milwaukee does. And that didn't just happen overnight, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. So I do believe in the long-term philosophy and the long-term vision of David Stearns to make this a consistent, healthy winner for many, many years to come. It's not going to happen overnight, okay? He has made some really nice, big splashy additions. We are on pace to potentially make the playoffs again now for the second consecutive year, but I don't think not making it would necessarily tarnish his legacy or anything like that. It's all about what happens after that. Look, if the Mets don't make the playoffs this year and then they have another disappointing year next year, now we're talking about, is this guy the fit to be our president of baseball operations? All of a sudden, we're looking at his job security if they somehow miss the playoffs next year and this year. But that is way too forward to be thinking about, way too far into the future to be tripping about. But guys, I am going to wrap it up here because I have to. I gotta go. But anyway, let's recap let's take a quick preview of tomorrow's game where the Mets open up a series with the Cleveland Guardians. It'll be Sean Manaea on the mound. He has been fantastic since returning from the injured list. So really excited to watch him go at it again tomorrow so far this year in 4 games, 3 of which were starts. We know he started that or came in relief on the final game of the first half out in Kansas City. But 17 1/3 innings pitch. He has struck out 22 batters and has an ERA of 2.08. So what I'm looking for out of Sean Manaea, hopefully he can give us a little bit of length tomorrow. Obviously, didn't have to really use any of the main bullets in the bullpen today or yesterday, so that is a good sign for sure. It should be a healthy, well-rested bullpen to go for tomorrow, just in case. But I'm hoping that we do get to see Manaea throw a little bit deeper into this game as he tries to continue stretching out. And then, meanwhile, the Mets are going to be taking on, I never heard of this guy, Slade. Wow, what a name. Slade Ciccone. Look at this dude. All right. Interesting name for sure. Pretty decent numbers so far. 13 starts, 3.77 ERA. Let's see. Who's this guy? I really never heard of him. He's been around since 2023, though. He's actually with Arizona, so I wondered if he... No, he's been with Cleveland this whole year. Okay, interesting. All right, well, guys, hopefully the Mets can get back on track beginning tomorrow. This is a big series, if you ask me. They have got to get back on track as quickly as possible because, the Phillies aren't playing great ball right now, but all it's going to take is one good stretch of baseball for them to start pulling away in the National League East. So hopefully it does begin tomorrow. But, guys, I appreciate you tuning in so much. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, Mets get routed by the Giants today, a final of 12-4. Thanks a lot, Frankie Montas. Thanks a lot to the anemic offense once again, but be sure to leave this video a like if you haven't already. We'll be right back tomorrow with another post-game recap immediately after Mets and Guardians game 1. That is going to do it for right now, though, guys. Appreciate you all tuning in. I am Tony Metro. Until next time, stay true to the orange and blue.